everybody, and welcome to the wrestling show for whatever today is, the 22nd of July. And this might be the first time that we were just about on time. It was still 8:05, and the intro had stopped playing.
This stupid baseball game went in extra innings.
Huh? Oh, okay. Yeah. I get it now, though. The Atlanta Braves games, yeah. That was annoying back in the day. And how dare the Atlanta Braves call themselves America's team? Whoever told them they could do that? I hated the Braves. I, I think I still do. And it wasn't because I didn't like the baseball team. I hated the Atlanta Braves because they would always preempt the 6:05 wrestling show or the 7:05 Sunday night show. 'Cause you remember there was also 7:05 on Sunday nights, which was only an hour long. Were you wanting to say something, Jason?
Oh, I was just gonna make a comment about not liking the Braves. I mean, like, what are you racist? You got something against the Indians or something?
Well, no, there was also the fact that when I was a kid, I was a Pirates fan. So,
Braves was
you get to the early '90s, there was like a big rivalry between the Pirates and the Braves in the playoffs. And
yeah, Braves was good in the '90s.
so, well, you know who the guests are. We got Mr. Jason Stewart. How are you tonight?
Oh,
You
I'm
guys
doing
really ain't
pretty good.
guests. You're like you live here, so I mean,
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good tonight, man. How you guys doing?
not too bad. Still ain't got much sleep, but other than that, and Kingpin's here too. How are you tonight?
What's up, everybody?
So,
Look, I'll just go ahead and get this. Everything should be in my control at all times.
uh,
Everything.
yeah. See, the little birdie told me that Kingpin has some rants he wants to get off his chest involving NXT and maybe some other stuff. So we'll give the floor to Kingpin. He can rant away.
No, I'll just break in as we go through because once we cover each topic, I'll have a little bit of a rant too. So we'll just do it
Well,
as it comes along.
well, you're the resident NXT guy now. So you want to start with? We can start with NXT. I got no problem with that. So, I mean, that's the department that you pretty much head up is NXT. So do you want to rant about NXT or get the NXT off your chest, or you want to wait?
All right, first Carmelo Hayes and Dragunov. I think that has the potential to be another good match because like Dragunov and Braun Breaker was good. It was a whole lot
Yeah,
better than Dragunov's normal, try to kill each other matches. And he's gonna
right.
have to have more of a wrestling match against Mello. He can't have a just go kill Mello match. Their promo against each other was really good. And Dragunov with the what do you call it? What do you call it when you have a mustache and the beard around your chin but not up on your cheeks? What are those things called?
Oh, the goatee.
A
A goatee.
goatee.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, Dragunov with the goatee, he looks scarier and he looks more realistic. You know what I mean? Uh, the Ali and Wes Lee promo was really good. I like that. I liked, Corbin is going to just be Corbin, which another thing. A lot of these shows are watching each other. Like Tony Khan and Vince McMahon watch each other's shows and they steal from each other every episode. But, Corbin Burnson going and just being normal him and being a wrestler, I think is going to actually work out for him. Now, Shawn Michaels, what is your problem? Wesley is one of the most popular people on the television show, dare I say, across the WWE. Wesley's very popular. Wesley is very talented. Wesley has the crowd in his control. They help him because he's not the best on the mic yet, but the crowd makes up for that. What are you thinking letting him lose to Dominic Mysterio? Not to mention the fact that you're taking this big bad Judgment Day down to elementary school and letting them pick on people. So you're making the Judgment Day look kind of foolish too.
Well, it makes them look like bullies, which is what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, but if there were bullies picking on the high school kids, that'd be different. These are bullies picking on the elementary school kids. Like,
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
which
like,
is what the older kid bullies do. They pick on the littler kids.
yeah. Uh, I just don't see the whole idea behind doing Wesley like that. I don't get it. I was very angry about that.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think about Dominic. He should be on NXT. He shouldn't be on the main roster, and he should be losing to Wesley on a regular basis. I'm not a Dominic Mysterio fan, if you can't tell.
Dominic Mysterio, I watch a lot more intently on like specific stuff now to try to keep my interest. You know, what I mean, I'm like looking at different variations. Dominic Mysterio is a fantastic in-ring wrestler. He's really good at taking a bump and selling it. He's good at getting booed and being the heel. Uh, I don't know if he's really all that good at the good guy thing. Like, I don't think he should be a face. That's a little too weird with him having the long hair and still looking like a little kid. But I don't know, man. The rest of the whole character thing is usually what gets in the way, and I think they've run into a brick wall that's 30 feet thick and getting thicker by the second with Dominic Mysterio. The crowd's never going to stop booing him like that.
Mm. Oh, as soon as they had him turn on his dad, he was done as being anything but a heel for the foreseeable future. Good,
What
Jason.
I was enjoying that. Uh, uh, the thing about you was talking about how Dominic he's getting better when the crowd boos him. I was sitting here thinking he really don't have much choice on that one. But I want to say hats off to the crowd for booing him every time he goes to talk, like perfectly on cue. Like they'll listen to the rest of him, you know what I mean? And as soon as he starts to talk, they boo over him, man. So like the crowd's really good too, and they enjoy doing that. You know what I mean? So like I see that happening for a while. I hope it does. Because I mean that's just like I had a smile on my face when the crowd was booing him earlier today when I was watching it, man. I just think that's cool, man. That's a real good interaction. I mean, like the whole crowd on perfect timing, perfect cue, just to boo him, man. Uh, that's a great part of the show.
Yeah, my problem with Dominic isn't again necessarily that he's a bad in-ring performer. He's not a good character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, you didn't see it yet, but so you'll have when you go back to watch SmackDown, you'll have to see if you can recognize what I'm talking about. But maybe Jason will remember. They had, when they're backstage talking, and they changed the way the mic sounds. So sometimes when they delay it, you still hear in the ring area, and you can't really hear what they're saying backstage until the mic gets fixed. Well, they went to Dominic backstage, and when the crowd saw him backstage, you could hear the boos. They had the mic turned off for outside, so it was just backstage mics, like on the lapel type mics, and you could hear the crowd booing over Dominic talking backstage.
Oh,
That's
even
fabulous.
better, man. Go back to Monday. The whole
Last Monday I watched it.
yeah, yeah, I know. Flashback to that real quick in your heads. Corey Graves with the ex-con Dom, where he pronounced con and Dom real close together, and it became like a running joke the rest of for the whole segment with Dominic between him and the Irish guy. Or am I thinking of one of the wrestling news stories, but they did make the joke on Raw too. If you caught it, and I'm sure you can guess where the joke was going. Corey Graves, for those of you who don't get it, essentially called him a prophylactic.
Yeah, I like the boo and the Dom. I'm glad he got done fighting his dad. That kind of went on for my taste a match or two too long. I'm glad to see that they found a new direction with Dom and where they got him. Man, I like it. I like the booing him. Uh, and he does have the good reaction when they do boo him and everything. Uh, I just like that, man. I think it's a success. This one's at least entertaining to me.
Hey, Buck's out there in the chat. And I just had a really funny thought. Imagine instead of booing, the crowd starts yelling "Dirty Con Dom." You know, they call him Dirty Dom now. Insert Con in between Dirty and Dom.
Actually, the shows I just watched, it seemed the crowd was pretty good at chanting on about all the shows.
Yeah, they like the Dominic "You Suck" chant.
Yeah.
What's up, Buck? How you doing, man?
All it's going to take, though, is for one person to catch on to what Corey Graves said on Raw and start the Dirty Con Dom chant.
We gotta take a quick U-turn. So I'm sorry, guys. I've got to interrupt because now that it's fresh in my mind, I have to say it or I'll forget. What's up with the black dude in the Finland flag?
Huh?
Every WWE show, there's a black dude in the front row, and he's got a red flag with a blue horizontal angled stripe.
That's not
Trinidad.
Finland.
What's that
I'm
flag?
not sure what that flag is.
Oh,
it's not
I've
Finland.
noticed-
Finland is white with a blue cross on it.
I
I know.
noticed that on a couple
Yeah,
occasions.
I know what you're talking about. I have no idea what that flag is.
His shirt says, and I just keep calling it Finland because I'm stupid. Trinidad or something. I'll find it.
Trinidad is a island in the Caribbean. It's mostly populated by former black slaves, or blacks descended from slaves. You know what I mean? Hey, Stacy's out there in the chat. Evening, Stacy. Hey, Buck.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Stacy says she misses you, Jason.
It's Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, it's two islands that are real close together, and they form that country. One's Trinidad, one's Tobago, obviously, but they're a former slave colony. That basically is what it is. They must have got a different flag because I don't think that's what their flag used to be. Because we had one that was sixth grade. We had to study Latin America, and that included the Caribbean islands, and we had to learn what all their flags were and everything.
I don't know if I said it or not, but what's happening, Buck?
What's going on, Kingpin? Jason, how y'all doing?
Not too bad.
Life sucks, Buck, but that's living in modern America for you.
Yeah, Jason had his windshield broken by a dump truck, so.
Ah, damn. Now I bet you they had that sign on it, stay back 200 feet too, didn't they?
I don't know. He was coming straight at me.
Oh.
He was going one direction, I was going the other. Cracked it a good one, it did. A real good one.
So are we done with NXT, or you got anything else you want to mention about that, Kingpin?
No, all in all, I think. I mean, there's a bunch of unimportant stuff. Like if you wanted to talk about Roxanne Perez kind of becoming more of a mean chick. If you wanted to talk about Gigi Nolan and her feud with that businesswoman, but you guys probably don't want to talk about that because it's not really all that important.
No, I was just asking, basically asking if there's anything else that important happened on the show.
I mean, Jason and Buck would probably appreciate it, but yes, the quality of ladies on NXT is getting exponentially better every week.
Sound like I might start watching that.
NXT, you say?
Yeah,
Yeah, they do a lot of like scenes, and in the background they've got extras, and a lot of the extras are usually pretty hot chicks.
Nice. I started catching up today. Watched all my weekly wrestling today. I started out with Monday Night Raw.
oh, you should have started with Saturday last week, Jason.
I started with
This is
I watched Monday Night Raw. Then I watched Friday Night SmackDown. Then I watched AEW Blood and Guts, and then I watched AEW whatever it was from last night. It might not have
okay.
been the
So,
whole show or part of the show, but it had the dual.
well, Rampage is only an hour long, so
Oh, okay, yeah. So I watched that one, but I thought
so
when it started out, I thought WWE was a good one on SmackDown. Remember they had those Viking guys, and they had like the extra part outside the ring, the Viking rules, Viking longship or
oh, that was
whatever.
last week's.
Yeah, I thought that
Yeah,
was a good match. Those
That was
big
this.
guys went at it, man. I thought that was pretty good.
the Viking thing was last week on
No, the
SmackDown.
Viking thing was this Monday. The Monday because
Oh, was that Monday?
yeah
Yeah, that was Monday. Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking.
basically
Oh,
it went
oh,
down like this. This was Alpha Academy's turn to
yeah,
lose.
yeah, basically.
So they needed to
But
have the Viking ship out front so the Viking Raiders could be extra psyched up so they could get that win.
but there was a small victory for Alpha Academy in that match. She got her jacket back, man.
Yeah, but she did catch, and all in all, she did take a beating. But sometimes you got to take a beating to make yourself a little bit tougher.
And sometimes you got to take a beating to get your jacket back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little out there, man. A little weird, Waldo, with the chick stolen high school leather jacket or whatever, and
College, man. College.
whatever. That was a little weirdness there.
They were they were asking on Tuesday when the rivalry between Chase U and Alpha Academy is going to start. Got a college gimmick in on the main roster now and one on NXT.
Tell you that that's not going to last very long because if they make Mia Hale the champion and believe I'm going to go nuts.
Boy, she is an energetic little ball of energy, though, isn't she? That girl is crazy. But so, any of you catch Collision from last Saturday?
Yeah, I watched most of it probably. I don't really remember a whole lot, so you'll have
Oh,
to.
come on, you got to remember the tag team match.
Man, when you start talking about it, I'll probably remember.
FTR versus Bullet Club Gold. 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah,
That match.
that was too
That,
long. I fast forwarded through most of that.
oh man, no, you got to watch the whole thing. That was a classic. They put on one hell of a tag team match.
I agree. I agree. They did put on quite a good match. The boy that I don't like, the crazy one with the hair,
Mm-hmm.
did a pretty good job in the ring. So I enjoyed watching him, even though I can't stand listening to him talk. But an hour long match was, man, that was a long match.
It was a long, yeah, it was a long match. But damn, those guys went all out in that match. For a good while there, it actually looked like they were going to have Bullet Club Gold win. Especially that third fall. It was like, who's going to win this? At least watch the entire third fall, because it was non-stop action almost. That whole third fall, people trying to get the pin, because they knew the clock was starting to run out. Because it only had it was 2 out of 3 falls or 60 minutes, whichever came first. There was less than 5 minutes to go when that match ended. As far as Collision, that was the match of the night. And honestly, I don't remember anything that happened during the Battle of the Belts, so I would say it's probably the best match of the night, period. Oh, let's see. So, yeah, that's what I remember from Collision is that tag team match. That's what I remember from Battle of the Belts, which came on right after Collision. Might as well have just been a third hour of Collision. Was the first hour in that tag team match. Anything else, I don't remember any of it, to be perfectly honest. So I was hoping one of you guys would have caught it at some point, so you could have reminded me of what happened. So I guess we can move on to Wednesday night. Or if we want to stick with AEW before talking WWE, I don't know. What do you want to do? Go in chronological order or go by show?
Blood and Guts. Was that Wednesday?
Yes, that was Wednesdays.
Well, let's get into that, because I think that was the show of the week, in my opinion, right there.
Oh yeah, that was pay-per-view quality right there.
All right, here's just a thought, and you kind of confirmed it for me already, Jason. My idea was let Jason kind of, since he's the freshest, he watched everything today. Let him say, "Hey, I want to talk about Raw," and then we'll just talk about Raw or talk about whatever. And when he's let him guide the conversation.
Oh, Blood and Guts played a big part in what happens in at least one of the matches from last night's Ring of Honor pay-per-view as well. So
no pressure at all, Jason. It's all on your shoulders now.
Well, man, what I bring up about Blood and Guts, it was the two rings with a cage around both rings. What, 10 guys got in this one? It was 10 guys. But, and it didn't start till 10 got in there. And it was really good. And I was like, yeah, this could be great. And then that crazy son of a bitch, John Moxley, comes in there. And he starts, shanking people, man. Remember that? That's how it started out. He brought in a fork, but they said it was a screwdriver at first.
One guy said it was a screwdriver, then the other, no, that's a fork. He went all Abdullah the Butcher on people.
Yeah, he comes all in there and cleans the house, clears the ring air for his entrance, and he's shanking people. And I'm like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Little did I know. That was just the beginning.
Yeah, that was just the beginning.
I remember thinking, 20 minutes, a half hour later, of wow, him coming out shanking people ain't even nothing compared to what's happened in the rest of the match. That's how good the match was, man.
Yeah. The thing that got me, man, when they were climbing up to the top of the cage, they kind of telegraphed the thumbtack spot, because you could see the bag already sitting up there. They're climbing up to the thing. I'm like, why is there a bag sitting on top of the cage? Well, we found out why there was a bag sitting on top of the cage. It was raining in thumbtacks.
Well, it started out, here's how I remember. It started out with Moxley coming out with a kitchen fork, getting everybody, right? Then he threw out a bag or something and had broken glass chips, right? Of course, Kenny Omega was just getting the shit stomped out of him
from the beginning, because he was the first guy. So Claudio started it, right?
he gets some glass. Some other people get some glass. They got glass stuck to the back, glass stuck to the face. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there were some good old fashioned beatings for a while, and then he pulled out uh, a bed of nails. A great big board probably had
Yeah.
500 nails sitting in that thing, right? And Kenny Omega did everything he could to keep from getting slung into it, but eventually he got slung into it. And then the dude had like his hands on it and was standing on his hand. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that Moxley got all bloodied up. He's
Oh, Mox
the
got the worst of that bed of
yeah,
nails.
he got all bloodied up in this ordeal. But man, he was just brutal. He had some fierce weapons, man. I mean, like he come in shanking you. He's busted you with glass. He's got a board of nails. I mean, he was just a savage, man.
But you
I
remember what
was like,
happened to Mox
damn.
with the bed of nails, right?
Yeah, there were several people tasted that board of nails, man. Well, they did a pretty big move down onto it, man.
Yeah,
A
they had
pretty good,
Mox laid out on it,
yeah,
and Guy did a double stomp on him while he's laying on the bed of nails.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was a brutal one. We were talking about it earlier. Well, let's just go with that, man. Yeah. What do you guys think about the brutality of it? The unusual crude weapons, man.
I personally can do without the forks and the screwdrivers. I'll go as far as the 2x4 with the barbed wire around it, but the forks and all that are a little too much.
Well, the
I do
fork's a
think.
callback to Abdullah the Butcher, because that was his
Well,
thing
I'm
back in
not
the 80s, was he was
hang
whacking
this
someone
one
with
up.
a fork.
I'm not taking that call. I'll hang it up. Bring, bring. Not home. Leave a message. So, but I do think, all in all, they did a good job with the level of violence, the length of the match, keeping everybody fresh, keeping it entertaining. I could just do without the forks and the screwdriver.
Yeah.
I don't think
What
anybody ever actually used a screwdriver in the match.
when one thing that caught me about the match is it was a submission match or
Surrender.
surrender, right?
Uh-huh.
Anybody. There's 10 guys in there. From once the match started, when all 10 guys got in there, like nobody tried to beat anybody. It was just pure, all out beating the hell out of people for 15, 20 minutes. You know what I mean? I mean, nobody even attempted to end this match. They maybe even longer than 15, 20 minutes, man. Maybe a half hour or longer. But it seemed like they just all. There was a hell of a show because there were a lot of good wrestlers in that ring, man.
Oh, yeah.
And the camera couldn't keep the camera on everybody. But there was some hellacious amount of beatdowns in that match. I think Kingpin called it level of violence. Uh, if I had to give that match a rating, man, that could be like a 9.9. That could almost be a 10. That match. I mean, it was pretty good. Like that level of violence was great. Hell, when the two dudes went on top of the cage match at the top, I thought he was going to throw the one dude off. I think the crowd did too. That was good. And we were talking about earlier, dude did the catwalk off a 20-foot or like jungle gym or whatever, hung from the bars, and came down and double stomped the dude right through a table. 20-foot drop. I mean, that was a hell of a match, man. Every one of them guys in there, except for the two that quit,
Yeah.
did a pretty good show.
We'll get to the Pac thing quitting because that led directly to a match that was on the ROH pay-per-view last night. Claudio versus Pac.
If it
Good
was a
match.
quit match and two of the teammates quit, how did each individual guy have to quit separately?
No, they didn't actually quit. It was a surrender. Somebody had to say that the entire team surrendered.
So
like
those
say they
two
were
bailed
torturing
out on
somebody.
me.
Because this what happens is, if you remember, they were they had Moxley handcuffed to the rope where he couldn't get to
Yeah,
save Yuta,
yeah.
and Claudio was beat all the hell down. So they were just torturing the hell out of Yuta, and Moxley surrendered for the team. The
Yeah,
other
they
two
were
guys,
outnumbered.
Pac got pissed and left. And then Don Callis, after Pac got pissed and left, just comes and pulls Takeshita out of the match. So those guys didn't actually surrender. They just took off and left. If one of
Shit,
them would have said to the ref that they quit or they surrendered or something, that would have ended the match. But they didn't say anything. They just left.
shout out to Ashley and Krabby Turtle, the one and only in the chat.
Yep. Even and Ashley and Krabby.
Hey, Ashley, Krabby.
I, for one, when Slimmy was standing on top of the cage, I was really, really praying that they wouldn't do something stupid like a move off the top of the cage.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like, no, they're gonna do a dumbass move off the top of the cage.
Oh, I thought for sure they were. Cooler heads prevailed in this case. Matt Jackson and Wheeler Yuta were like, nope, we ain't doing this. Climb back down.
Yeah, as I was watching it, I was doing some other things, but jumping back and forth. When them two dudes were on top, it's like for me, I thought the camera like zoomed in. You couldn't see how much cage was left, and after like he did a couple moves, I was all like, the next move, I thought, oh my god, there's no room. They're gonna fall off. You know,
I should revise what I said. Wheeler climbed back down. Matt got up, grabbed the bag, and made it rain thumbtacks into the cage. So there were thumbtacks everywhere in there.
Yeah, I was right before he did that, the screenshot showed him up there catching a breather. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there thinking, I wonder what's going through that dude's head. I know they got to stretch the time out, you know, but everybody else is down there. He's all alone up there by himself. Like, he can take all the time he wants, but, you know, sooner or later you're going to be like taking too long a time. I was just wondering how that dude actually felt being all the way up there in the crowd and everything. And just like as soon as I was thinking that, that's when he grabbed that bag, started raining down the thumbtacks and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what the hell was this on? Peacock?
No, this was on TNT.
TNT?
Or TBS. No, TBS, not TNT.
I don't know if I can get that.
Blood
this
and
was
guts.
a regular TV show for Wednesday night. It could have been, and probably should have been, a pay-per-view.
Man, I'm going to look to see if I can find that one. That sounds
Yeah.
like a good match.
Yes, I honestly give that match a 9.9.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty high number for me.
Yeah, Jason texted me earlier, asked me if I saw it. I said, yes, and brutality is an understatement.
Yeah, that match was savage, boy. But Kenny Omega took a beat down forever. Forever in that match.
I was shocked. I was shocked with him having just come back from injury not all that long ago, that as brutal as that match was going to be, he's the guy that started it.
Yeah, boy. I mean, he took a beating for a long time. And then he caught like a second and third wind, you know. Got beat down some more too, but I mean, he drew a lot of attention too, though. You know what I mean? He was a big name in there, but yeah, boy, he earned his paycheck. He put in his full work right there, boy. Woo.
5 or 6 of those guys that were in that match are either current or former world heavyweight champions in some promotion. Give you an idea of the caliber of guys that were in that match.
Yeah, there's a good one. I mean, sometimes you get the battle royals and too many people in there, and it's a little lame. You know what I mean? And like there'll be 2 or 3 guys that flipped out of the ring or something down there, and you don't see them for a couple minutes. They're catching their breaths or this or that. This one really wasn't like that, man. Every guy in there was going at it pretty good, and it was just who the camera decided to focus on for a few minutes,
And guys were falling between the cage and the ring.
Getting caught between the cage and the ropes. Yeah, a few people got the hell beat out of them like that.
Well, they were getting caught between the ring, not just the ropes, but the ring. Because in the way they had the ring set up, it was like Hell in a Cell, but not quite spaced as far as what Hell in a Cell is. So you could fall down, you get trapped literally between the ring and the cage.
Yeah, that was a good one, and you're right. That was pay-per-view quality for sure.
There were some good matches on the undercard too. You had Jungle Boy defeat Hook for the FTW championship. That was a fairly decent match between the two of them.
Jungle Boy cannot use that entry music. I mean, I get it. He doesn't want the oh music anymore. Yeah. But
yeah, Beethoven's Fifth just didn't work.
Ain't Jungle Boy gone now? What's his name showed up for to fight the next match, and they showed a video of, like, his feet getting dragged into a pit and getting buried in the desert or some shit.
That was Jungle Boy burying himself. Essentially.
Right. Which, by the way, Corbin did that last week. That's what I'm saying. When you watch all the TV shows together and you remember them, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, wait a minute, Corbin did that same exact scene 2 weeks ago, and NXT just stole, or AEW just stole.
But well, somebody back in the day did that too. So I mean, it wasn't even original for Corbin to be doing it.
It's Jack Perry.
Yeah.
That's his name now. And I'll go get you a pretty cool video about burying somebody. You'll like it, Jason.
Just don't bury anybody in a car in a river or a lake in WWE, because apparently that doesn't kill them and they end up on a different show.
Oh, well, they'll always find the car. That's not a good choice. Unless they don't find it for a couple
No, they don't find the car. The guys just show up on a different show.
Oh.
That's how they got pretty deadly off of NXT. They had the two guys that act like they're in the mafia kidnap them, put them in the trunk of the car, and then drove the car into either a river or a lake somewhere. And then 3 days later, they showed up on SmackDown.
See that lake in Oklahoma? They found like 5 cars in it. All 5 cars had people in it. It was almost like a car from like every decade or so, all in the same spot. They ruled them all as accident.
Uh-huh.
They think the car slid down the boat ramps, and they just went into the water and basically piled up on each other. Been there for like from 50 to like 75 years ago or some shit.
All right, that link is from Ryan Upchurch and Adam Calhoun. It's a song called I Might Die Tonight. Totally irrelevant to anything we were talking about, except for somebody said something about, reminding me about digging a grave, and this video is pretty good.
Ashley says she has to go make a phone call, but if we're still here, she'll be back in a bit. Rating, if we're not still here, we'll catch you later.
Yeah, don't try that in a small town.
Yeah, it's hard to remember everything that happened on Blood and Guts because I watched it a couple of days ago, and that Blood and Guts match just like overshadowed everything else.
99,000 people were cheering for MJF and Adam Cole.
Oh yes, that is correct.
Okay, that match, yeah, that wasn't so bad.
And they did the mashup. They did the Adam Cole MJF music mashup.
Yeah. Speaking of, do you think they win tonight on Collision or two next? Is next? No, it's next week on Collision.
Wait,
Think they're going to win next week on Collision?
wait a minute, time out. What were you saying about Adam Cole and MJF's music?
They did a mashup of their music, their entrance music.
Well, what I saw, MJF comes out, and he comes out, onto the stage, and he's
Mm-hmm.
strutting, doing his thing, and then they shut his song off and replayed it. It was the same song, and he starts like acting all stupid, like, "That's my song.
Uh-huh.
You played my song over." So was the second one they played different than the first one in the
Yes.
long run? Okay.
Yes. The second one had elements of Adam Cole's music thrown into it as well. Remember earlier in the show when the two of them were doing their little backstage thing, and Adam Cole said he had a surprise for him, but he wouldn't tell him what it was? That's what it was. It was the music mashup of their two entrance themes.
That's gay, man.
The tag
Again,
teams do that a lot.
again, my blood is boiling right now. I'm seething. Never underestimate Joe Biden's ability to fuck things up. Barack Obama said that.
Uh-huh.
Never underestimate Tony Khan and Vince McMahon's ability to mess things up. They're going to make MJF and Adam Cole feud over the AEW title, and they're not going to put the tag team titles on them, and they're not going to keep them two together, and
Well,
everyone's pissed off.
it's funny you should mention that because John Cena twice as World Heavyweight Champion formed a tag team with the guy he was going to be, not by his choice, obviously, the guy that was challenging him for his world title. And both times, they ended up becoming WWE Tag Team Champions.
Quick side note while it's on my mind, NXT is going to screw that up too, because they're going to put Dragunov and Mello together as a tag team before Mello and Dragunov meet each other at the wrestling event, which I won't say out loud because it's an abomination.
Are they going to have him take on Gallus?
Well, the other day, whoever, I think it was the Bloodline, not the Bloodline, the Judgment Day, was messing with what's his face, and then Dragunov came out to start saying, "Hey, you can't mess with him yet." Braun Breaker and Mello went through the same thing, and then they were a tag team against somebody before they had their first title match. They're going to do the same thing with Dragunov and Mello, and I think it's dumb. Thank you for letting me interrupt right there. We could go back to
Well, don't forget, they didn't just do it with Mello. They did it with Braun Breaker and Apollo Crews, too.
That was probably before my time.
Well, that was the guy that was challenging Breaker before Carmelo did.
Yeah, I wasn't paying as close attention when Apollo was around.
Yeah, so that would be 3 straight times where that happened. So, I think, yeah, that would have been 3, because it would have been Cruz and Breaker, Breaker and Mello, Mello and Dragunov.
But I think they're definitely going to screw that up, and they're going to make MJF and Adam Cole blow the tag team championships.
Or they'll win the tag team titles and then end up losing them in a couple of weeks because one of them will do something, piss the other one off, then they'll turn on each other at that point. Because that's what happened every time with both times with the John Cena situation when they did that. They think that they did it once with Cena and Batista, and I think the other one was Cena and Shawn Michaels. Hey, Gary.
Look, is
Hey, Gizzard.
Hey Gary, how you doing?
which direction we going to next, Jason?
Uh, what about, do you watch WWF SmackDown?
I have
Friday
not
night.
seen SmackDown yet. But if you want to talk about it, go ahead.
What the hell's there to talk about? All it was is talking. There ain't no
Yeah,
goddamn wrestling on that shit.
I don't
It's all
remember too
SmackDown
much
was
about
was
it.
people running their mouths this week.
Yeah.
I know Dominic had a title match, uh, and he won, but Rhea helped him. Uh, well, the bloodline thing, man, I thought that's going pretty good with Roman Reigns and the Usos and Jey Uso. I like how they played that off. They were in the middle of the ring, and Jey Uso's called it out now. It's what do you call it? Oh, this is tribal warfare or something. This is for the head of the table. This is tribal warfare rules or ethic code between them guys or something, man. But I thought that thing all went down pretty good, man. I know that when they broke up this USO, they're gonna run this family against family, blood versus blood, and the twins. They're gonna run it. I think they're doing a good job with it so far, man. I liked how that went down. But you didn't see that one, huh?
No, I haven't seen that one. But
Roman Reigns is an excellent actor, and I can't really understand. I mean, obviously, just being completely objective about it, Roman Reigns is a stunningly good-looking man. He's fit. He's got the long hair. He's got the tattoo. Everything that Hollywood would want. Women love.
he's another Jason Momoa. Him and Jason Momoa could be brothers if you put them side by side.
I
But
thought they
that's what I
was the
mean.
same person for a while.
Jason
Yeah.
Momoa's got a job, and Roman Reigns doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well, my son,
he's got a pretty good job. Let me clarify that.
about the time when the Shield first came on the scene, and there was a commercial for some Jason Momoa movie, and my son thought it was Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I thought they were the same people, man. It was Aquaman or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
thought.
same guy played Aquaman, ain't it?
Yeah, I thought it was the same dude, man.
I thought it was.
But
Well,
Roman Reigns is a fantastic actor, and he's a fabulous wrestler, of course. And the people love the character of Roman Reigns because
Now,
they can cheer for him when he says "acknowledge me." They love it. They love to acknowledge him, and as soon as he's done the acknowledgement part, they love going right back to booing him. It's such a cool thing to watch.
yeah, it's like Jericho. He's got that same kind of vibe with Jericho. When Jericho comes out, everybody loves to sing his song, and Jericho's got the big smile on his face and everything. But as soon as the music stops and Jericho starts talking, everybody starts booing him.
Yeah. I like
well,
how, like Jason was saying, that they're doing it really well. They got right to the point. They got right to Roman versus Jay. Let's get it on. And they're even throwing in the added intrigue because if you watch Solo's watching both of them. Solo don't
Yeah.
trust either one. He's getting ready to turn on Roman himself,
Well,
but he's not going to turn on Roman to go with the brothers. He's going to go Solo.
have we discussed this before? Because they brought up something interesting on Cultaholic a few weeks when they first started the whole breakup deal. Solo wasn't sent there to serve Roman Reigns like Roman thinks he is. If you go back to when Solo was introduced, Solo was sent there to keep an eye on the bloodline for the elders. Solo doesn't work for Reigns. He works for the guys that Reigns works for. Which fits right into what you're saying, Kingpin.
All right. Since we're on SmackDown, we've got to get the biggest headline in all of wrestling history and get that covered. And all the people say,
Hey, mate,
yeah,
yeah.
dude, this. How many times have you ever seen a guy that's about to have a match walk to the ring with the mic in his hand? I don't
Yeah.
really remember seeing that too often.
you see it every so often.
Two, Sheamus is kicking the crap out of LA Knight, and the whole crowd's chanting LA Knight. Again, Sheamus turns to the crowd and he notices. He notices.
Uh-huh.
Rich, when you see it, man, you can like, especially
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
you've watched Sheamus so long, you know his mannerisms.
Uh-huh.
You can tell that the human being, the actor, was feeling it, man. Because he was doing his crowd thing where he chants 1, 2, 3 and ho 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 before he finishes his finishing move. The whole time he's doing that, they're chanting "L.A. Knight."
Oh
Yeah,
man,
normally they're counting with him. They're going, bro, bro, bro.
this was like really my first time ever seeing or noticing L.A. Knight. You know, and you're right. He came right out with the mic, was doing a great job. Crowd was into it. Uh, I get a vibe from him, man. A vibe kind of like The Rock. You know what I mean? Hell, he even uses drops and elbow and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Would you
he's just
believe
got
that guy
that.
is? Would
He's
you believe
got
that guy? Go ahead.
the
Go ahead.
the swagger, you know, the personality, just like the kind of tone of his voice. He reminds me a lot of The Rock, man. I like it.
Here's a crazy thing about LA Knight. That guy is 40 years old, and Vince McMahon 5 or 6 years ago cut him because he didn't think he was any good.
Oh, I liked it, but hell, he's a pretty strong ass dude, man. He like caught Sheamus in midair and was flinging Sheamus around pretty good, man. He's a pretty big old boy. But yeah, man, I think he's pretty funny when he's on the mic. I like the crowd being into it with him. Yeah, I think he's. I want to see more of it. I mean, it's it's kind of he's like really new to me. I haven't really seen him or know where he came from. I know Kingpin talks about him, but I hadn't really seen him yet. And yeah, man, he's get the crowd going. That's entertaining. Uh, like I didn't really study how good he worked in the ring, but I saw he did all right. He's a pretty big old boy. So I thought he was just really good on the mic right from the get go. So that's what kind of got me into that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the people explode every time he comes out. I've never seen anything like it, and I don't mean to be hyperbolic because I'm gonna explain what I say by that. When I say I've never seen anything like LA Knight, I mean from the way that the crowd reacts to him, uh, the talent that he's got, the swagger that he's got, and all that. But then you throw in the fact that Triple H is watching Wrestle. He's watching SmackDown. He's there. He can hear every time anybody mentions LA Knight's name. The place starts shaking.
Okay, check this out.
They let Rey Mysterio win that champion. That what and the crap. What you've got to let me control everything from now on. Always, at all aspects of everything, I have to have complete control over.
Yeah, here's how over LA Knight is. A couple weeks ago, he wasn't on the show. He was in a dark segment at the arena. People online went ballistic because he was in a dark segment. They didn't get to see him on TV. The next week, he came out, stood at the top of the ramp, gave a 30-second promo, just so people would be able to get on TV, got to see him that night.
Yeah, and they went nuts for it. They loved every second of it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's like people hate money. If you put LA Knight on TV for 5 minutes a week, you're gonna make 10% more money.
Well, you know what part of the problem is? Vince hates when people he doesn't see as being something get over on their own. And a lot of people online are speculating that that's what's going on with LA Knight right now. Triple H wants to push him, and he's having to fight Vince to do it, is what people are speculating. Because that's it's his MO.
Isn't that LA Knight from Maryland?
Yeah, he's from Hagerstown, which is like halfway between Kingpin and I.
Kingpin, you ought to get him in your videos, man. You can get monetized real quick on YouTube.
Hey,
I'm
man.
not even gonna pretend like I'm not gonna fanboy. If I could beat LA Knight, I would be on it.
If we could get
See
LA
if
Knight
you-
on here, that would be freaking awesome.
See if you can get LA Knight to buy us a pay-per-view, man.
Hey, MJF
Let me
did.
call MJF and see if he knows him.
Well, MJF is a young guy. He may not know him.
I mean, comparing the statistically, I would say the most popular wrestler today, MJF, to
Hey.
somebody who it's hard for me to say the word because maybe the most over is LA Knight.
Yeah, I
Because
know a
the crowd
connection.
goes nuts.
I know a connection that MJF has that he can probably get us in touch with LA Knight.
Oh.
Adam Cole, baby.
All right, there
Adam
you go.
Cole knows both of them.
Right on. And hey, I'll go meet Britt Baker, get good and friends with her, and then we'll meet Adam Cole. So I'm on it, guys. I'll take
Oh,
this.
no, you can get in touch with MJF, and MJF can put you in touch with Adam Cole, and then Adam Cole can put you in touch with LA Knight.
You seem to be leaving out the part where I get in touch with Britt Baker.
Well,
Remem-
I don't know if
remember-
Adam Cole's going to give you her number, man. He's kind of protective.
Remember, man, if they don't want to do it, tell them I'm practically homeless. Taco Bell tries to give me free food and shit.
You ever notice how LA Knight and Britt Baker both do the letter thing and they point to him? She does the DMD and he does the LA Knight. Yeah, I guess I should turn my camera on so you can, it's DMD, LA Knight.
Yeah. Well, no, Britt Baker does the pointing down, DMD. LA Knight does the up, pointing up.
Well, sometimes he does it down. Sometimes he does it up.
Yeah, okay, true. That's true.
Hey,
I wonder if Adam Cole taught both of them that move.
Did I tell you guys the story about Taco Bell trying to give me free food?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Was that before or after you broke your windshield?
Oh, this was in my truck.
Oh.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I get off work and got my helper with me. And the area we're working, there's actually like a little strip mall, some fast food stuff. So there's a Taco Bell. She likes Taco Bell. So pulled into Taco Bell just basically because we'd worked all day. It didn't take like a lunch. And it was like a little early. We're getting off a couple hours early. So we stopped in Taco Bell, ordered up what we wanted, some food. And it was only like $15 or something. But we both got lunch bag coolers. And I got like a whole 12-pack of pop. You know what I mean? Cold. So I didn't order any pop. And I pull up to the window. And this, I don't know, man. She was a crazy ass lady. This great big lady working for Taco Bell. As soon as I roll up, she's like, woo-wee. That is an interesting looking vehicle. Right? Looking at making fun of my old beat up truck. And she told me something about the last time she saw a vehicle like that. She was watching a video and a lady was driving around drunk. And you know what was in her trunk? Her kid. Dead. That's what she told me. And then she told me something else about old junk truck with dead people. It was like, told me to look it up on TikTok and shit, right? And anyways, go through from there to a normal order. Give her the money, come back. And she was all like, are you sure you don't want something to drink? I'll give it to you without charging you and shit. I was like, damn, bitch, you just called me like homeless or something and shit. I was like, damn, I know my truck's old, but I'm not asking for free food or donations or nothing. But I've been having a good time with it, man. Like I roll up and be like, woo-wee. Couple interested motherfuckers right here.
Well, now that you told the story, Jason, for the rest of your life, you can have everybody that you consider a friend say that the girl at Taco Bell wanted you, so she offered you a free soda because she had
Uh-huh.
to take
I
that.
was about to go there, but you beat me to it.
Oh no, this was uh, man. This was like remember Pee Wee Herman and Large Marge? This chick was like Large Marge. She was a weird one. Like I said, literally, that's what she said when I pulled up to the window. Woo wee! That is an interesting looking vehicle right there.
You know, weird chicks go for guys too, Jason. So I mean, it doesn't mean that she wasn't.
Where shit, you already got Kingpin beat. All he can get is a goddamn free napkin from Burger
I
King.
know, right?
He,
All Kingpin
he,
got us was a bunch of napkins. You were getting food and drinks, man. Good lord.
Well, my helper's with me. She's a girl. If you wouldn't know any better looking at it, you'd think we was
Oh, she
together
was
or
going for
something.
both of you, is what you were
So
saying.
she thought we was like taking my old truck and living under the underpass or fucking some shit. I don't know, man. I thought it was pretty funny. But I was like, damn, time to get rid of my old truck, man, when people accuse you of being homeless.
She was wanting the two of you to go with her and make a porno, is what it was. She's gonna pay you
Nah,
in Taco Bell.
nah, but
You're gonna wake up in Romania the next day.
no, but I thought about it later and stuff. I said it'd been nice if she'd like wonder how she'd felt if I like fucking gave her $100 bill or something for change. Told her keep the change or something like that. She'd go home. Man, these two homeless people gave me a tip today.
All right, okay.
all right, I got one. Did you guys watch? Everybody watch? Like maybe Buck might not have, but the Friday Night Rampage, the
I
battle.
have not watched Rampage.
Yeah, the two. It was the same like rings, but without the cage around it.
Yeah, yeah. I thought the battle royal. That was probably, in my humble opinion, the best battle royal I've ever seen. Doing it the way that they did with
Yeah,
the
but Darby won.
okay, but that there's problems there. There's definitely problems there.
Yeah, I haven't seen the match, but I know who won.
Letting they progressively let people come in. So every minute or minute and a half,
Right.
a
Yeah,
new.
they do like a Royal Rumble.
So that was very cool how they did that. They also did it with two rings, not one. They had both rings
Mm-hmm.
available, which made it considerably better for a battle royal. Considerably better. It was very occupied. It was busy the whole time. Lots of good moves, lots of good battles, and just stuff back and forth. In my mind, uh, it was entertaining for me also because I'm trying to figure out the angle and who they were going to go with. Sucks that it was Darby, but the good thing is Darby gets stomped in his face the entire match.
Yeah, you wouldn't when you're watching the match. I mean, you already skipped ahead. You know Darby wins it, but when you watch the match, like that's really not your pick during the match. You didn't think Darby was going to last that long.
Out of the last two, I would have rather have seen Swerve win.
Dude, Darby. Remember back when Brock Lesnar came out and spent 6.5 hours F5 and Cody Rhodes on television?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's like watching Darby, dude.
Well, that's what it's like watching Darby in every match, and somehow at the end he's the winner.
Everyone that comes in that ring kicks Darby in the mouth for 5 minutes.
So you don't want a spoiler alert how he won, Rich? It was pretty cool how he won.
uh, the, there's a lot of good entertainment in that match. The new young kid who I thought they might have been able to give the shot to. He did very well. He performed very well. He looks like he sharpened up quite a bit, and for so much chaos going on, he stepped up quite a bit. He's going to be a professional.
Well, his dad was. I mean, it's in his blood.
Yeah, but that's not real. That doesn't really exist. So
It does to a certain point. Certain people.
Well, Kingpin just mentioned it, and I had forgotten about it. Uh, I guess it started. It was her first of the week there. I forgot all about it. Uh, uh, Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes. Brock came out and busted his ass up pretty fucking good.
Yeah, yeah, he
Uh,
did.
in
Hey,
front of his mom and his
challenge accepted, bitch.
hometown, and beat him up. Tried to break his arm a couple times again. Then left and came back out with a chair and beat him up some more.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Challenge accepted, bitch, and then walks
Yeah.
off.
Challenge accepted, bitch.
Apparently, what they didn't show on TV is Brock came out a third time and hit him with the chair again and then walked off
Yeah,
for the commercial break.
uh-huh. That still doesn't make any sense to me. Like why they're doing that. But
We're playing Dusty's greatest hits with Brock as the Four Horsemen.
Well,
go ahead, Jason, because I'm gonna explode with this next rant.
well, I see Cody Rhodes is he's gonna be on that like behind the scenes show thing they got, and then he's got another TV show where it's real life and his wife's pregnant and stuff, like a real life one of those kind of shows, like just got cameras at your house or whatever.
They're doing one of those with Brock now.
No, Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
Kind of like a Kardashian.
They did one of those. They did one of those with Cody.
The Rhodes.
It's the A&E channel.
They did that with Cody when he was in AEW. They had it on. I think it was on TBS where they did that with Cody and his wife back then. So.
Well, I just saw a clip for it, and him or none of his friends know how to put a baby seat in a car and use the seatbelt to hold it down.
Which is horseshit because Cody's already got one kid. His wife.
Look, yeah, all right.
Is his wife? Is she a wrestler?
His wife used to be a ring announcer, and then she turned somewhat wrestler. Not very good.
Yeah, she's pretty hot.
Yeah, she's okay.
Maybe she can't see that thing on his fucking neck. I don't know.
Oh, the best part is the other week when Cody made a joke about his own damn tattoo on TV.
No.
When they have sex, she strangles fucking him, so she don't have to see a fucking thing.
Yeah, Cody said something about, I've made some pretty dumb decisions in my life. You can see one of them on my neck.
Okay, it's bad enough, and pardon me, NWA, WCW, for saying these kinds of things. Crockett Cup. The WWE uses the name Great American Bash. Oh man, I feel dirty saying it. Yuck. That's bad enough. Cody Rhodes dared, and thank you, crowd, for showing him his fault in life. He dared this. Oh, I'm pissed off. He dared say hard times.
Yes, he did. Well, we were at US Cellular. We went to US Cellular today to get my wife a new cell phone because hers has been acting up. And me and the guy were talking about that, about how Cody dared to use the hard times thing.
Thank God the crowd was like, nope, and he stopped it right away. I was angry. Like when he said that, I was.
Oh, the best part in the lead up to him saying it was, I don't want to say this. I'm not him. This was his thing, but Brock's really got me in hard times. It's like, no, he did. It's like, I told you that's where they were going with this whole damn thing a couple weeks ago, and then he flat out came out and said it on Monday. It's like, I told you guys with the broken arm and everything, they're going and they're doing the hard times bit with Dusty, but with Dusty was his leg, with Cody it's his arm, and he just flat out on Monday admitted it.
We, maybe this Joe Biden character is not so bad after all, because he's trying to push a lot of these hate speech laws. So this might fall. That might fall under the category. Cody Rhodes should be prosecuted for saying
Yeah.
That's a tragedy to the American dream.
Yeah, and as soon as he started saying about how it was his dad's thing and he really should be saying it, and he what, I knew where he was going at right then and there. It's like, oh no, he's going to say hard. He's going to do the hard times thing, and sure enough,
that's like a balloon popping. Like if you ever go and watch like slow motion camera videos, and then you see a balloon and they showed how it explodes. Because you think, okay, you say something stupid and the crowd deflates, and it's like, oh, and slowly you lose the crowd. That was, he said hard times, and snap, they turned on him,
yeah,
and he knew it.
yep,
My son
he
Hunter's the
did.
smartest guy I know.
Hunter wouldn't even have been dumb enough to say hard times.
I done told you that's where they were going with that, and boom.
All right, what about? I'm not a big fan of the Bro, but his match with Gunther really wasn't all that bad, actually. I think it was
Matt Riddle,
it's a good way for Gunther to move on. He dusted him real good.
Riddle really is a good wrestler. I can't stand his fucking character.
Yeah, when that match came out, well, about anybody versus Gunther's gonna get their ass beat. But you know what I mean? As soon as that come out and it was him, I was like, oh, whoa, what are you thinking, man?
Yeah.
And I heard him mention something they got into it the week before, and he got the best of him or something. That kind of surprised me. But
yeah. Well, speaking of Gunther,
first chest slap. You knew how this match was going to
go. Speaking of Gunther, because you brought up Dragunov earlier, you guys really need to find the match with Gunther versus Dragunov from when they were over in NXT UK before they shut NXT UK down. Good Lord, the two of them beat the hell out of each other.
He did pretty good with the mic too after that match. He got up. He stood on like the announcer's table or something with the microphone. Like told the crowd to shut up or something and shit. That was pretty good.
Yeah, he's like, go ahead and boo me. I don't care. I was waiting for her to say, I'm not Dominic Mysterio. I don't care if you boo me. I'm going to talk anyway. That would have been hilarious.
I do like the fact that WWE is trying to pick up with the premium type of matches, because now you're seeing a lot more title defenses on television. And even with Austin Theory had a match. It wasn't a title match, but you still got to see the champion in a match. The women's tag team title match, I actually didn't mind it all that much. I thought it was a decent match. The surprise
for what it was.
What's that?
So for what it was, a TV match, yeah, it wasn't bad.
I actually think that Chelsea and Sonya make a good tag team match.
They're good at playing the sleazy, sneaky heel, which is how they played that match.
Well, and they also both seem to do the in-ring wrestling well together.
Yeah. I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying, but they also got that little element that they do with the sneaky heel that goes and sneaks around the ring and grabs a person and pulls them down. And they're good at doing that, because they're good at hiding that they're doing the sneak part around from the TV camera. You know what I mean?
But staying with the women's division, the Ronda Rousey Shayna Baszler promo was actually quite good. I don't know why they threw the stupid match in front of it.
I'm the better Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that they did a really good job. I just think that having the dumb match in front of it was a waste of time.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, that match was like 30 seconds,
Yeah. What
if
else to
that.
show Shayna's
If that.
dominance? That was
Yeah.
cool.
Grabbed her and put her in a sleeper instantly or something, didn't she? It was
Just
over.
about.
Yeah. She is the better Rousey.
Yeah, and Ronda never run a match that fast.
Ronda actually, Ronda actually set a couple world records in real life, whipping people's ass.
We're not talking real life.
She Ronda Rousey also was funnier than hell. You guys like probably didn't catch it the way my mind interprets things. But she was up there at the. Remember, she was like at a like up there at the press box booths or whatever with a
Yeah,
microphone,
she was
and
up
she's
in the
calling down there,
commentary box.
and they start playing the story. Okay, the girl in the ring, she started NXT, worked her way up, been climbing the ladder of success, and Ronda just like came on the scene,
Mm-hmm.
but Rhonda kept referring to how she got there as I got here through the back door.
Yeah, like, you think that
It's
was
it's
easy?
harder. It's harder when you got to go through the back door.
Yeah, it's
It
harder when you
is.
don't have to do anything to get where you're at.
Yeah, the back door. You know what you're getting when the back door. I thought that was hilarious.
The whole purpose of her promo was basically saying it was harder for her to take the easy route than for Shayna to take the hard route.
Hey, let's entertain this for a little bit, and let's look at how Ronda Rousey got into WWE and got famous. Uh, only up until now, I think it's pretty safe to say she's a terrible wrestler, and she's terrible on the microphone.
Uh-huh.
Which is weird because in actual interviews or when she would talk during the UFC, she had a little bit of fire to her. She could talk. WWE, she can't.
Uh-huh.
But
There's
she
a
had,
difference between talking from the heart like you would in UFC
yeah,
and being able to memorize and recite a script.
sure, yeah, exactly, and be on time and different stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But Ronda did go from the top of the world, probably the most famous female athlete on the planet at her time, to getting devastated twice in the UFC. I mean,
That's
bad,
putting it
bad.
that's putting it mildly.
Then she went right from there into the baddest woman on the planet on the WWE. So that's kind of a hard deal to go for. Like, the WWE fans know that you just got brutalized twice.
Yeah. And what makes that even better is how this is going to play up if WWE does manage to sign the one woman that beat the hell out of her, like they were rumored to be trying to do a few weeks ago.
Oh, that'd be cool. But Ronda she got some fame out of UFC though, for the women's side of things. You know what I mean? Hadn't paid any attention to them until she came on the scene. She kind of had like the news and the media behind her for a minute, so that got her out there. And after she got her ass kicked there in UFC, she was in a couple movies. I'm sure she probably had commercials or other stuff, but anyway, she got into the scene kind of, her name is out there and her image is out there, made her popular. So that helped her in the back door, you know what I mean, to get her in there.
Ronda, Ronda, from the very beginning to the end of her career, meaning end of her career being Holly Holm, not when she stopped fighting, but when her career actually ended, is when Holly Holm beat her up, was female combat sports anywhere on the planet. Now, again, there was different types of martial artists that were better than her at their field, but she
Oh yeah.
didn't do that, and then she got into the UFC, and the women all the women at the time that were into actual combat sports like UFC, Ronda was 3 or 4 years ahead of them in talent,
Yeah.
and she just beat everybody up. Then what happens is just like every other fighter on the planet, that one day that badass girl that was better than you showed up, and Holly Holmes embarrassed her really bad.
Well, that's
Then after that, when she came back after Holly Holm, the entire like the worst person in the division moved up so far so fast that the worst person in the division at any point in time could have been a champion. So Ronda was 10 years behind everybody. That's why the second fight that the Spanish girl that she lost to is hard to watch. That's like watching a man fight a woman. Ronda had no business being in that ring with that monster. And I say monster respectfully.
well, look at it this way too. If you go back to her Olympic career, all they tell you is that she's an Olympic medalist in both UFC and WWE. They don't tell you that she was a bronze medalist. There were 2 people in the Olympics that were better than her that year.
Oh well, hey,
Yeah.
hey, you only got the 3 medals in the Olympics, so that's an accomplishment there. A
I'm
medal's
not
a
saying it's
medal, yeah.
not, but they make it sound like she won the Olympics. When they announced that she was an Olympic medalist, they make it sound like she won the gold medal. She didn't. She was the bronze medalist.
Well, a medal's a medal.
Well, I mean, it happens to all of them. Chuck Liddell was the same way. Chuck Liddell could
Yeah.
beat Mike Tyson could beat any man on the planet until Chuck Liddell could beat any man on the planet until you know, Seth Rollins. Now just make wrestling up. Seth Rollins could beat any man on the planet until, and then he's going to lose 10 matches in a row.
Mm.
There's always somebody out there just a little bit better.
Pro wrestling, I mean,
Well, the problem with like actual like football, like everything besides pro wrestling, like football, basketball, and especially hand-to-hand combat sports, when that wave comes and the next generation are all there and they're that much better than you really have no choice. That's why you see Anderson Silva gets beat up by a 19-year-old. It's not because that Anderson Silva ain't bad no more and that 19-year-old's just that tough. It's just now that 19-year-old has training and stuff that Anderson Silva couldn't have dreamed of. So he can get that much better, that much faster.
yeah, but when it comes to age, you really can't apply that to pro wrestling like you do the others. Because here's a little stat for you: Chris Jericho and Ric Flair, their last world title reigns were both over the age of 50.
Yeah, well, sometimes the scrub can beat the pro if you're just fucking bound, determined, and hell bent on not losing too.
You
So,
mean
you
like
know, it's
Buster Douglas beating Tyson?
It's a in the moment thing. You know what I mean? You don't have to be the best in the world, but for one punch, you just got to be better than this dude. You know what I mean? At the moment. So you know, so many factors go into play, but just a single, a boxer, a fighter, a sports team, or whatever. Now and then you're going to come across somebody that just, for this magical night, the Cinderella moment, they're just hell bent on not losing, and you know that's how history goes down.
Yeah. And for all the Mike Tyson fans and apologists out there, I'm well aware that Tyson knocked down Buster Douglas, and the referee, according to you
Took
guys,
12
watched
seconds.
the count or anything or something. But shit happens.
Every time I bring up boxing, white man got to bring up Rocky Marciano.
I tell you, Rocky Marciano was just as dirty as Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas because of money, not because of boxing skill.
Rocky Marciano
That was the
undefeated.
most fixed fight I've ever seen in my life.
Joe
Kingpin's
Louis
one of
was
those
82 years
apologists
old.
for Tyson.
No, I'm not an apologist for Tyson at all. I mean,
No,
I
that was
clearly
a joke, man.
the problem with Mike Tyson is when he ran into Evander Holyfield, he
He'd have
ran
been his
into
hero.
a complete
Dude,
boxer.
yeah.
Well, he had to bite him because he ran into a man who was a complete boxer.
Yeah.
Everyone else in Mike Tyson's career, they were good boxers, they were tough guys, they were heavy hitters and all these kinds of things. They just couldn't figure out Mike Tyson. Evander Holyfield was the first guy that could take Mike Tyson's best punch and could attack Mike Tyson in methodical ways that he'd never seen before. So therefore he showed that Mike Tyson really wasn't a boxer. Mike Tyson was a fighter.
Yeah, I think Muhammad Ali would have possibly been able to beat Tyson.
Muhammad Ali would have embarrassed Mike Tyson, unless, of course, Mike Tyson hit it. Mike Tyson caught him with that one of them heavy blows. Ali's knocked out like everybody else.
Yeah.
But if he can avoid
Another
that, Ali would ravage Mike Tyson.
Another guy would have been Foreman in his prime. When Foreman was at his best, he hit harder than what Tyson did. Tyson never fought somebody to hit him as hard as he hit the other guys. Foreman would have hit him harder than Tyson did.
People were afraid George Foreman was going to kill them. Like family members were like, "Don't fight George Foreman; he might kill you."
Hey man, I got a story for you about Buster. I used to live in Columbus, and I swear to God, I lived off of some apartments. It was on a road called Schrock Road, and as you came out my apartments and turned left, you couldn't even measure it, but like in seconds of your drive, like one of the very first little buildings or businesses or anything that's like right next door was the gym that Buster Douglas trained at, right? And believe you me, it was just a small little place, and his manager, if you ever remember him, man, he was like a local shyster fucking dude, got in a bunch of legal trouble here. But anyways, his gym, Buster's gym, was like literally within eyesight of coming out my front door, right? I had nothing to do with it or anything. But what I'm getting at is they had, their sign out front. And man, it was up there, home of the champ. You know what I mean? That's all it said out there. Home of the champ, Buster Douglas. That was up there for a while. And then when he went and fought Holyfield and laid down on the mat and helped the referee count the numbers, that was like pretty much Buster's. You never heard from Buster again. But for years, and I mean years, that sign out front of that gym said home of the chump, Buster Douglas. So, pour on Buster, man. Some people like when he was doing good, boy, he was the pride of the city. And then when he lost, he's like, can't show his face here no more. No one ever forgave him. Kind of like LeBron in Cleveland and shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pop out of here.
All right.
I'm about wore out today.
All right.
Well, thanks for stopping by, man.
See you,
Yeah.
bud.
Good night.
All right,
Yep, have a good
I'll
night,
see
bud.
y'all around tomorrow night.
Rookie Duke.
I'll tell you guys. Do you guys know who Hasim Rahman is? A boxer named Hasim Rahman.
I don't really follow
think so.
boxing.
Heard of him?
At one point in time, he was the heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the story on the air, but I'll tell you a story about him off air.
All good. But, going to the other show that happened on Friday night that you guys didn't see, Pac gets his comeuppance for walking out on the Blackpool Combat Club at the ROH pay-per-view. It was a good match. But man, him and Claudio beat the hell out of each other in that match. So you get a chance to find somewhere to watch that match. And at least if you don't watch any of the other matches on the ROH pay-per-view, you've got to watch that one. And the four-way tag match for the ROH tag titles was really good too. I know you guys generally don't like, or at least Kingpin doesn't really like the multiple tag team matches, but this one was really good. And my boys from the United Empire Aussie Open are now the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. They made their return after Mark Davis recovered from his injury to his knee.
How stupid. Rey Mysterio versus Santo Cavalcante. You had LA Knight. You had LA Knight. And you made it Rey Mysterio versus Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah, but they're going with the master and the apprentice kind of deal. Maybe they got something bigger and better for LA Knight.
Wait, what did I miss here?
Santo Cavalcante. And
Santos Escobar versus Rey Mysterio?
yeah.
They're in the same faction.
Right, they got to wrestle each other to see who goes up against Austin Theory for the title.
Are they going to break the LWO up?
They're going to screw it up. Here's how they don't screw it up. They have Rey Mysterio and Santos cut a promo and talk about how they're going to kick the crap out of each other, just like NXT did with the whole, hey, let's best friends need to fight each other to become better best friends. Sorry. I was chewing on a Pop-Tart. I apologize. But for like 3 weeks.
You're turning into Paul Harrell now. You got Pop-Tarts.
And for like 3 weeks, NXT had all the tag teams wrestle to each other's tag team partner. And what they were saying is, you kick the crap out of your friend, and then you and your friend become better friends.
Uh-huh.
That's what they need to do with Rey Mysterio and Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
So,
but they'll probably turn Escobar back to being a heel again and have the two of them go and feud.
They could easily win if they had them two stand there and look at each other and threaten to kick the crap out of each other, and then shake each other's hand and walk away. Have a regular throwdown match, and then whoever wins, whoever loses at the end, pick the other guy up, and then they walk out like friends again.
I'm still trying to figure out how they took Escobar and the two guys are with him when they're heels and have them come out and be the one that saves Rey against the Judgment Day. I still trying to inform the LWO. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this one. Why would the heel stable come out to help Rey?
Well, didn't he help Rey win that match? To set up a match against him, and they were all like in the ring together, buddies, holding his hand up and stuff.
Well, this was months ago. This was back when Rey was feuding against Dominic.
No, I don't think Rich saw. I think that was on SmackDown. Yeah.
Yeah, the match that set them two up. The dude interfered to help Rey win, to fight him, and they were like walked out of the ring together and everything. Like,
yeah, the whole LWO thing doesn't make any damn sense to me. For reasons I just stated. What Escobar and the other two guys were a heel stable. Going back to NXT, they bring them up to the main roster. They're still a heel stable, and they put them with Malachi Black's wife, whose name I can't remember right now, the short little Puerto Rican chick. And they're still heels. All of a sudden, Rey is feuding with Judgment Day and Dominic. Rey gets moved to SmackDown. Judgment Day comes over to SmackDown to beat up on Rey. The heel stable comes out to help Rey. Not any of the baby faces, the heels. Why?
Hell, what? The crowd was just cheering the hell out of that Escobar guy.
Yeah, because he's in a stable with Rey Mysterio now.
Yeah.
But a few months ago, they'd have been booing him out of the arena because he was a heel, and a dirty heel at that. So I don't get the philosophy and logic on why these guys are now baby faces when they were one of the most hated factions on SmackDown just a couple months ago. Makes absolutely no goddamn sense.
It's only going to get worse because they're going to put Austin Theory's title on one of those two dudes. I hope they don't. Hopefully, they just use that as a reason to break the LWO up. But it's very likely that either Rey Mysterio or Don Pablo Ito is going to be the new champion.
I'm going to be honest with you. Out of Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar, I'd rather see Escobar have the belt. Especially if they turn him heel. You guys didn't see Escobar when he was the Cruiserweight champion before they got rid of the Cruiserweight championship back in NXT. And Escobar is really good on the mic, and he's a good wrestler. They just haven't given him his due on the main roster because they've made him Mysterio's lapdog. If they put the U.S. title on him and turn him back to being heel, they could be onto something and have turn LA Knight face and have the two of them feud over the U.S. title and let Escobar do what he can do. I'm telling you guys, it'll be a hell of a feud. I've been watching Santos Escobar for a few years now, before he was even in WWE. The dude is really good on the mic. He's one of the few Mexican wrestlers that's actually fluent in English. And he's really good in the ring. I've been watching him since he was wearing a mask. He was one of the masked luchador guys. So it's just WWE being WWE. Just
Charlotte Flair versus Io Sky.
I'd love to see Io win.
That was a SmackDown match, and you said you didn't see SmackDown, Rich?
No, I didn't see SmackDown yet.
When you watch SmackDown, get your fast forward button ready. Like Buck mentioned it. Buck mentioned that he was only in here for as soon as he got in here. He said SmackDown was another hour-long commercial. Like I warned you, like what was it, last week or 2 weeks?
Raw mostly was too. If you think about it, Raw was mostly a 3-hour commercial. There were what, 2 or 3 matches, and the rest was all people running their mouths.
Right. Think about it. Like when you go to watch SmackDown, try to like think back to this conversation and realize how much fast forward you're using. Now, I'm not talking about through picture in picture. And I'm not talking about through Calgon commercials and you need more Tide commercials or Blackout Coffee Company commercials. 20% off when you use Rich White's code.
Yeah. Which you can find
just the show itself. You fast forward to, I'm going to easily say 60% of the show, of the actual runtime show, not counting the commercials.
Well, where I watch the show, I don't have commercials to deal with anyway. So if I'm fast forwarding, it's through the show.
You're looking at about 60% of your runtime is going to be spent fast forwarding because the Charlotte Flair match is painful and there's a lot of promo stuff that's repetitive.
And probably one of the worst. I know Kingpin probably thinks Ronda Rousey is the worst. But as painful as it is for me to say, the worst ladies wrestler, the worst wrestling, and the worst on the microphone beyond a doubt is Trish Stratus.
Oh, she sucks on the mic. She always has.
Oh my God, she was terrible this week. Her and the girl that hangs with her.
Zoe Stark.
Zoe, yeah. And this other girl that they're going to get into it with.
Becky
it
Lynch.
Was stupid. Yeah, Becky Lynch. they're agreeing to stuff. If she loses, she has to get
Good. Thank you, Trish.
tattooed.
Tattooed across the
Thank you,
chest.
Trish. Oh, it was so
I'm sure
lame.
Seth will really appreciate that because
It
Becky Lynch is married to
was
Seth Rollins.
it was so lame, man. It was terrible, man.
Seth,
Absolutely terrible.
Seth probably backstage like, what the fuck did you disagree to?
Becky Lynch was wearing pajamas.
Yes,
It looked like a
yes,
little
she was.
girl's
She was wearing
pajamas.
Adidas pajamas. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks this.
Yeah,
And not
that
just
was bad.
pajamas, bell bottom pajamas.
Oh, but there was a bright side to the weekend wrestling I could packed into one day today. Orange Cassidy didn't wrestle. And the only time I saw him is they did a backstage promo. And it was pathetically shitty and dumb. And he was gone. He was a mere bleep in fucking time this week.
And I'd like to confirm Jason's reporting. That was a terrible promo. I don't know what they were going for. If they were going for the, oh, we don't care, dude. They failed at that. I don't know what the problem was, but that was
That wasn't
bad.
even a pro. That was bad, man. That wasn't even nothing, man. I mean, you'd have to give some effort for that to be an F right there. That was a pathetic. I don't even. You're right. I don't even know what you call that, man. That was pretty lame. I remember sitting there looking at the TV and I was like, that sucks pretty bad. All of them that was standing there, that none of them said nothing, but that was just bad. That was a bad idea. Bad get together. That should have been like cut, take, erase that, start over again.
Yeah, I concur. That was painful. The Chris Stratlander match was pretty painful too. She needs to, I don't know, like the lady that she wrestled isn't bad, so maybe I don't know. She needs something different. Like they promote her real good, but I haven't really seen it yet.
I haven't seen it since she came back from her injury.
Your boy, Tyler Duggan. I don't know what the guy's name is. The dude with the hat from the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Oh, Jake Hager?
Jake Hager, yeah, he came out for the Battle Royal, and he didn't have his hat on, and Chris Jericho was doing the announcing, and Tony Schiavone said something, or one of the other announcers, I don't know who it was, said something about, and Jake Hager's not got his normal hat that he usually wears for confidence or something, and Chris Jericho goes, yeah, because he gave it to me last week. It was fun.
Yeah, that's the kind of back and forth you get in the commercial breaks on AEW that you don't see on American TV.
Did you see how fired up Taz was at the beginning of Wednesday's show? And he was holding. They were doing the promo for the wrestling characters, and he was like, "Yeah, take this from me. I can't handle this anymore. I don't want to be on camera right now."
Yeah, he was all pissed off because Hook lost.
Oh yeah, and it's Shark Week, so they had the shark
Yeah,
mascot
get away from
guy.
me, man! I'm gonna
Get
punch
that
you.
shark away from me, man! I'm telling you right now, man.
Yeah, he was
Touch
gonna
me,
kick
if
that
shark, get
shark's
him away from me.
ass. And going back to the Jericho thing, he was on commentary for the tag team match on Wednesday, if you remember. And when Garcia and Guevara lost, he would act like he was, I'm going to go through some of my guys. And they just walked right by him like he wasn't even standing there.
Yeah, I think he's got plans. 2023 probably being his last year. It only really makes it unless It doesn't make any sense for him to do anything to join Don Callis. That's dumb, because then he's going to get in bloody fights all the time. He
They might
could.
be setting. They might be setting up going back to 20 late 2017 into 2018 when Jericho went over to Japan
Well,
because
he did say he was
Jericho
going
was
to do more
feuding
independent
with
wrestling.
Kenny Omega.
Well, he said that he's going to do more independent wrestling, like more in ring, like singles wrestling.
Yeah.
So that may be a thing too. So
If you look at we talked about it last week. If you look what Don Callis has been doing, he's been trying to get guys that Omega has feuded with to go after Omega. The only two big people that Don Callis hasn't gotten to try and get to Omega that he has feuded with so far are Chris Jericho and Hangman Adam Page, who right now is in a stable with Kenny Omega. So who's that leave for Don Callis to try and get on his side to go after Omega?
yeah, no, I get that for the TV show. I'm talking about the real man's life. Like,
Oh
what
yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm saying
Jericho
story
is
wise.
going to do with his career? Is he going to retire, or like why are they breaking up the Jericho Foundation? Because he could take the whole Jericho Foundation with him. Except most of the other guys don't like Don Callis, so that's why
that's the whole story they're running with. Nobody likes Don Callis, but Jericho is friends with Don Callis going way back to when the two of them were starting out in ECW. The old ECW, Paul Heyman owned ECW, I'm talking about. Back before Jericho was even in WCW. So they're playing that old friendship into the story. And Callis is trying to this is where I think they're going with this. Callis is trying to get Jericho because Jericho's one guy who potentially going back to their feud in Japan could be the guy that he sees being able to get rid of Kenny Omega for. That's where I think they're going with it. If they go down that route and don't have Jericho tell them to fuck off eventually, which could be another road that takes. Going from Callis's point of view is what I'm doing to tie into why the story makes sense. You guys haven't been following it that long, so you don't know the whole backstory there. So that's why I'm trying to fill you in on the backstory is why they might be going down that road with Callis and Jericho. Because if you know the history, it makes sense. You guys don't know the history, so you're probably sitting here, like you were just saying, doesn't make sense. You scratch your head trying to figure this out. But if you know the backstory, remember, if there's one thing AEW has done, is they've gone back to the past for backstory. They play the long game, whereas WWE, it's quick, instant gratification kind of storylines that they do. AEW's been playing some really long game storylines going back over into Japan. We've seen it with the entire Elite storyline has been going on since they were in Japan still.
Speaking of long game, which is kind of a weird stretch for me to segue this together. But did you notice that Chris Jericho? It was during a woman's match. I think it might have been during Willow Nightingale's match. But she said, he said that harkens back to the days of Jerry the King Lawler.
But somebody say puppies?
No, there was some type of move that somebody did. I'm pretty sure it was in the Willow Nightingale match. She did some type of move, and Chris Jericho said, "Oh yeah," the announcer was like, and something about that move, and Jericho was like, "Yeah, that harkens back to the days of the Jerry the King Lawler."
Was that on Dynamite or Rampage?
I think it must have been on Rampage because Willow usually doesn't wrestle on Wednesday, and she wasn't wrestling.
Jericho generally does the commentary on Fridays. It's only like if his guys are wrestling that he does commentary on Wednesdays.
I think I remember hearing him say that. I don't remember which one it was on. Both shows he just kind of like walked over and started doing commentary just for that match.
It was the two black girls. It was Willow Nightingale and then the short, darker skinned black girl who's actually pretty good too.
Athena?
Yeah. She's kind of a fat girl too, but she's a good wrestler.
She's more stocky than fat. Whereas Willow's tubby.
She's got more black skin, whereas Willow is like a really light colored girl.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, you know how Willow
Good
beat
match.
her for the
Good match, by the way.
yeah. Willow beat Athena for the Owen Hart Cup. Athena got her victory back on the ROH pay-per-view and successfully defended the ROH Women's Championship against Willow Nightingale in the main event, no less.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how high on the level of pay-per-views that one was. But arguably, you could see them two main eventing for the title. They actually they're both good wrestlers. For
Yeah,
especially
I'm not saying it was a bad match. I'm just saying that it just reeked of old WWE where somebody would win and the next match, the person that lost would get their win back. It just
Well,
had that feel to it because you
I'm
saw.
comfortable saying that women wrestlers were terrible. Most, not
Mhm.
all of them suck. We just tolerate them. To be honest, we just tolerate them. And Willow and Athena, the match that I watched, and the matches that I've seen before, but especially the match that they had together, was very tolerable. They did an excellent job. So I could see. I don't know about main eventing like a high
Yeah,
level.
I would not have
Low
put
level.
them in the main event above Pac and Claudio.
No, probably not. No.
Yeah, they said it was a double main event, and they put Pac and Claudio on first, and then Athena and Willow ended the night, which I thought was a strange decision.
Yeah, I wouldn't have went along with that.
But yeah, the whole Willow winning the tournament and beating Athena to do it, or no, she beat Athena to get to the final in the match, and she beat old circus freak, what's her name?
Ruby Soho.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to win the tournament. But then Willow loses when it comes to a world title, women's title, ROH women's title match. Some of the booking decisions sometimes leave you scratching your head.
I thought Willow already had a title.
Oh no, she lost that already.
Oh, okay. Britt Baker had a match. She came back, had a pretty good match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Willow was over in Japan and she dropped the strong women's title. I think is what she had, or yeah, she had strong women's championship, the New Japan women's champion. One of two women's championships in a promotion that doesn't have a women's division. Figure that out.
You know what they could do, and would be a very smart move, and going with my original theme, would be extremely tolerable. Jade Cargill comes back because they need to put Jade Cargill back on, and
No, they don't.
she just goes through every single woman in the women's division, and just like a conga line, like they just line up down the ramp. They enter the ring, she kicks him in the face and pins him. Next one, they kick until she gets to another 50 wins, and then they give her the title back.
I have never liked Jade Cargill.
I'm not too sure why I like her either.
I have not missed her not being on TV. It, she's not good on the mic. She's not good in the ring. I don't get what people see. I don't get it. She thinks she's the She-Hulk.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
She's attractive. I mean, she's a pretty lady, and I kind of like her fitness. She's not overly muscular, but she's not a good wrestler, and she is a terrible actress. And I can't stand the multicolored hair and makeup and all that. Like
Mm-hmm.
she overdoes that way too much. But
Yeah, and the whole baddies thing. She sounds like some snooty high school person. Go away. You know who she would fit in perfectly with? Your chick that you like over in NXT.
Easy now, easy.
Her, put the two of them in a stable together. I mean, they both sound like they're freaking
Uh,
the Mean Girls in high school.
Tiffany was on SmackDown, I think it was. She was like in the crowd, so they just showed her, and the cheer crowd was like, "Yay, Tiffany!" She said, I, "She said she held the belt up. She said it's Tiffany time," and I was like, "Yay!" But the whole time I was thinking she was just going toodles, toodles, toodles.
It's like, you're a heel. You don't say toodles as you're leaving. Oh.
And Corey Graves, either I don't know. He looks different. Something's like he either shaved his face differently or something's different. He looks weird. He's still funny. I still like him, but he looks weird. I know it's kind of strange for me to say
Well,
something.
he looks weird because he's got the neck tattoos like Cody, but I mean, not Cody's tattoo, but he's got the tattoos over his neck like Cody does.
Yeah, but at least I don't think he has a bunch of dough. I mean,
I'm not even sure what all his tattoos are. He's covered in them.
yeah, he's funny, man. I like that dude.
Yeah. You could put
I like
Corey
to,
Graves and the big dude from uh, House of Black in a tattoo contest to see which one of them is more covered.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see Corey Graves and Chris Jericho announced together.
Oh, good lord!
That'd be great.
Uh-huh. Have them two, and Excalibur is the straight guy. Excalibur's the dude in the mask on AEW programming.
Right? Yeah. I was over my parents' house the other day, and they were watching like something inside the ring or whatever. It was one of those exposés about the junkyard dog and how he had a crazy life and all that kind of stuff. And Jim Ross happened to be on there. So Jim Ross had already had one stroke. My dad was like, "Hey, what's up? I remember that guy from way back when on wrestling. What's his name?" So I told him. He was like, "Well, what's wrong with him?" And I told him that he had a stroke. And I showed him a clip of current Jim Ross. And current Jim Ross, I think he's probably had about 6 or 7 more strokes. I don't know because
No, he's got. It's not that he hasn't had strokes. He's got Bell's palsy, which paralyzes your face partially.
I think it's getting worse progressively, like very
Yeah,
fast.
yeah, it can.
It's a slobber knocker.
Well, it makes you slobber.
It didn't help. He sucked anyway.
Yeah, my brother-in-law has it, and so, at times he'll get an attack of it, and his like the left side of his face will just be paralyzed.
I thought Stone Cold did that to him. Stunner did.
That probably didn't help. Oh, by the way, if you don't know how funny Excalibur is, pay attention when he's saying things and he gets a dig in on Jericho or Tony Schiavone or Taz under the radar, and it takes him a minute to catch what he just said to them. You guys may not get that because it's generally in the commercial breaks. I keep forgetting you guys are watching it on U.S. television. I'm watching it on British television on replay, so I don't get the commercial breaks. I get when they're doing the picture-in-picture thing. You guys are getting a commercial break with a little picture of them in the corner. For me, it just stays as a live broadcast. So I don't get. So the commentary is absolutely hilarious in the commercial breaks that you guys aren't seeing.
All right, well, while you're enjoying your rich white privilege and not having to watch the commercials, start focusing on what's his name? The guy with the mask? I forgot already.
Excalibur. Excalibur. Just remember, it's King Arthur's sword, Excalibur.
His teeth are too perfect. I think he must get his teeth straightened and whitened between every single commercial break, whatever. I
Well,
don't
hey,
know.
man, there is a dentist on staff.
Well, Britt Baker, DMD, is doing her thing because Excalibur's teeth are phenomenally perfect, and it's distracting.
Well, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago that there have been guys that have had their teeth damaged, and she has worked on them right there in the arena to fix their teeth after the matches.
She's
One of the benefits of having one of the
general.
wrestlers on be an actual practicing dentist.
Okay, who is the guy who just got hurt? Excuse me. He just got hurt and he's off of wrestling because he landed awkward on his shoulder. He's kind of like one of the British guys. I think that Excalibur was
Yeah.
talking about him. But that happened like last week. He landed on his shoulder, so he's out. And he came out for the ringside of a match here in a wheelchair, even though it's his arm and shoulder.
You're mixing your shows real quick, Jason.
Oh, okay.
That's the blonde haired dude from Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, he fucked his shoulder up.
Yeah, so Excalibur's on AEW, Pretty Deadly's on WWE.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What caught me was being that Excalibur type dude. That dude named his wheelchair Prince William.
But speaking of injuries, there was an update on Bryan Danielson, and they showed his X-rays before and after surgery. You know how your forearm, you have the two bones, you have the big bone, and you have the little one that runs beside it. The little one was actually not just broken; it was bent. It looked like you take a candy cane and you break the hook off of it, and you just have that little bit of a hook left on the end of the candy cane. That's what his bone looked like in the before surgery X-ray. He didn't just break it; it bent the bone.
It'll heal back, man.
Well, they at post surgery, they had to put like a 10-inch steel rod in his arm with 8 screws anchoring the bone in his arm.
I quit paying attention. What are you guys talking about?
The Bryan Danielson's broken arm.
Oh, I was about to say because that Pretty Deadly guy don't have no screws in his arm. Because if he does, he was acting a fool on Friday. And
No,
the wheelchair name was hilarious.
we had moved on to Bryan Danielson, but his arm. I don't know if you heard me telling Jason if you were paying attention when they showed the before surgery X-ray. You take a candy cane, you break part of the hook off, and you just got like where you got that little slight hook on the end of your candy cane. That's what the one bone in his forearm looked like.
Yeah, I didn't need to hear about that. My roommates had a couple broken bones, and one of them he broke his forearm, and it was a real nasty break. And he always describes it, and it always makes me sick. And then he did the same thing to one of his leg bones, like his can't think of what's the leg bone below the knee called? Tibia and fibia.
Yeah, tibia, I believe, is your shin bone, and fibia is the thigh bone.
I think he broke both of them.
Dude, you're doing something to break your fibia. That's like the strongest bone in the body.
No, that's the femur.
Femur, yeah. Femur.
Yeah, the tibia and the fibia are below the knee.
Yeah, they're the.
And somebody kicked him going for a ball. He played high level, like he could have been a World Cup soccer player if he wanted to. Somebody kicked him and shattered his bones, and he'll describe that stuff to me, and it'll just make me feel like my stomach will get all queasy.
Ashley says she has broken all 3.
Hey, this wasn't much of a bone really compared to you guys want to talk about leg bones and arm bones, but I broke my fingers real bad one time. I ran a great big industrial size shear that had rebar. You know, rebar goes in concrete. from small stuff to great big huge stuff. But anyways, I had about 15 to 20,000 pounds of steel. They're almost 60-foot long pieces of rebar on a conveyor belt, and I got a stop in front of me. Well, I didn't know they were behind me because some other guy put them there, dropped them on my conveyor belt, and I pulled them up there. And anyways, 60-foot long mechanical conveyor belt smashed 15, 20,000 pounds of steel between my fingers and the stop plate on this machine. So it snapped my fingers, just snapped them instantly, boy. So I go to the emergency room and they take x-rays, and my fingers were 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch short of my other fingers. And the x-ray, from the first knuckle up on my pinky and my next finger, were sitting on top of the other bones on my finger. Sitting on top, right? Not in line and there's a crack. No, those half pieces are sitting on top of the other ones. And I remember this nice lady I had there, doctor, emergency room. I said, let me guess, you're going to want to pull them out and line them back up, right? And she kind of looked at me. She's like, nah, they'll fix themselves. And sure enough, they did.
Yeah, it's just a weird statement. You're sitting here, your fingers, your thumbs are in the wrong finger. Oh, they'll fix themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, but I tell you what, I was all for it because I wasn't too keen on the idea of, let me grab the end of that, stretch that out, and put that back on the end. I wasn't like keen on that, but I know that's what they was gonna have to do, right? And
I can show you an old football injury.
She was kind of like, nah, it'll heal itself. Course down both them fingers, I was cut. I mean, I still got scars. I mean, I was cut 3/4 of the way open on my fingers.
I'm sure.
And we was just worried about stitching that up. And she said I'd be good to go.
Yeah.
She was actually a real good doctor. We had a.
Okay. You see this knuckle on my right index finger. I mean, my right ring finger right here. I can't wear a ring on this finger because I don't know how well it shows up on camera. That knuckle is deformed. Took a point of football, real hard football. It was like late November, early December. Right there, it just cracked my knuckle right in half. It never healed it. You can feel where the crack is right about here. So, yeah.
Yeah, my shit don't even really bother me. For years, like, it seemed like the scar was like just like sensitive. You know what I mean? You just kind of always feel like you were cut or scratched or something. It was a little sore. I mean, like for 10 years, you know. Seemed like the scar was a little sensitive, but since then, no real problems with it ever, and I kind of remember it healed up pretty quick.
Ashley says she's been paralyzed and had most of her bones broke. Last time she got 12 bones broken. What are you, the next coming of Evil Knievel? Good Lord, woman. What are you doing to yourself?
Oh gosh, man. All of us got rookie numbers.
Yeah, right?
I mean, look, I'm just gonna go ahead and just be my normal self and say some offensive stuff out loud. But are you from like one of those little like children's hospital commercials that they want you to send money to and they'll give you one of those blankets? That kid said he had 112 surgeries before like his 5th birthday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one commercial, the two of them, the two kids in the wheelchair, were comparing how many surgeries he had. Like there was a badge of honor. It was like, Jesus Christ, kids.
Yeah,
she said she's had a drunk driver hit her, which paralyzed her, and she had a man that beat her and gave her. Man, you've had a rough life. That sucks. Hopefully, you're in a better place now than all that. Good Lord.
Oh hell, man! I was married to the devil's daughter, and then I fell in love with a witch, and ruined 3/4 of my fucking life. So, I mean, I
Well,
have broken bones, but I know what pain's all about.
you're not done yet, Jason. You haven't married Dracula's daughter.
I thought all
It,
women
that
were.
wasn't a joke. That was an actual insider truth.
Yeah, I know. Mine wasn't either. You still
Mine,
got one left to go.
mine wasn't either. I mean,
Yeah, she
I,
says she's in a better place. Good.
wow, that's what. I mean, I guess it was last week I did my drunk driver rant, so I won't go into that again.
Oh, one of my supervisors got fired for his 7th DUI.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's why we were talking about it. Yeah.
we just talked about that a couple weeks ago. Still trying to figure out how that guy isn't in jail.
Hey, man, I it's old news now, but they were still talking pretty hard for a few weeks or a month, right? That he got this. See, he got number 6 like a month or two ago, right? And then he got number 7 after number 6. Uh, the company did all they could, man. Like on a boss calling on a personal level, talk to him. You know what I mean? Like the company wanted to help him out. They wanted to do whatever he needed. Uh, Pay for alcoholics counseling, give him time off, give him money so his family could survive. Everything, man. On number 6, right? They were willing and like they're talking about like weekly conversations with him and stuff. Are you willing to make a change in your life? The company was going to stand behind him and back him up. And he's trying to fight from the way I took it. Like he didn't want it. You know what I mean? He'd rather just keep drinking than stop drinking. You know what I mean? Job be damned or whatever. But the company tried and were trying to help him. And then he got, like I said, his 7th DUI just like a month later. He ain't even been to court for the number 6. And he basically, they were still trying to help him and tried to convince him that so much is at stake right now. This is a wake up call. And he chose to just walk away. He'd just rather keep drinking. Ain't that terrible?
Yeah. Ashley says there's no excuse for drinking and driving. There's no excuse for drinking and using any kind of intoxicant. My high school girlfriend was killed when her and her aunt were on vacation out in California. They were stopped at a stoplight, and a trucker who was high on speed or something along those lines hit the rear of their car, and she went through the windshield. So, yeah, I don't have any tolerance for anybody that's driving while using any kind of intoxicant whatsoever.
I had a DUI 22 years ago. Straightened me out good, it did. Didn't hurt anybody, just hurt myself in my own car. But, real bad. Could have been, always thought my whole life could have been 100 times worse, and I was lucky. And local judges and police around here, man, they really threw the book at me and put me through the ringer. I might be the only person that went to jail 3 times for one DUI. And even though I could get my license back in 6 months, it took about a year and 3 months to get it back. So they taught me and straightened me up good. And not only did it quit my drinking and driving, it quit my whiskey drinking for like 21 years now. And hell, I was completely sober, no beer, no Jim Beam or nothing for, I couldn't tell you how many years. Many years, 10, 12, 15 years. And then I got married and she was an alcoholic, but I even just barely drink a beer. 4th of July, football game, something like that. I think I've drank more beer lately the last couple of years, and you're talking like a 6 pack at New Year's and maybe a 6 pack or two during the summer, counting the 4th of July, and that's the only drinking I do. But that time back then straightened me out because I was headed down a bad road in my life.
I haven't drank any whiskey that I can remember since I turned 21. Oh, I used to drink lots of whiskey before I turned 21. I hit 21 and it just like stopped.
I used to drink a lot of whiskey with a witch. Hence, I told you earlier.
Mm, yeah. Ashley said people don't change unless they actually want to. If they don't want help, you can't help them. That is a lesson I have learned as well. And she's
Yeah.
also on you learning your lesson. She also said that was good. She's glad you're still with us, Jason.
Another public service announcement. Never break the heart of a witch. She'll remember and she'll still be mad even like 17 years later and shit.
Mm, women can hold a grudge, man.
Uh huh. They no lie. What they say? Like, hell have no fury like a woman scorned.
Yeah.
You young men out there, that's the most truest statement you can come up with today. They will, and what's really screwed is, like, I got a girl that I don't know, man. I'll just get into it. But anyways, she hates my guts, and I really wish she didn't. And she has hated my guts for decades, and is very vengeful and revengeful. And it's all based upon a lie somebody told her that ain't even true. Old Jay is an innocent victim. I couldn't even believe when I found out that's what she's fucking been mad about all these years. But it don't matter. She still don't fucking believe me. So.
Yeah.
You heard
Well,
that? You heard that one song, Jason, where the dude says, "Stop telling lies about me, or I'll start telling the truth about you."
Hey, that's pretty good catch.
yeah. What's funny, Jason, is you talking about how you got this woman who hates you. The one tech channel I watched, Jay's 2 Cents, he just had to put out a video. Or no, it was Paul Harrell. He just put out a video.
Oh, Paul Harrell, I saw that.
Yeah, talking about the woman that he broke up with years
Stalker and
ago, and
shit.
she's been
Yeah.
trying to get his channel taken down and shit. It's like, Jesus. It was like, he says like it's like 30 some years later, and she's still trying to get back at him.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I understand that because I'm just telling you mine right now. I wish things was different. This person was one that you marked down as special in your lifetime, and like I swear to God, I can't believe it. Like it's a lie. I didn't do what they said I did. I didn't do it. There's no way. You know what I mean? So like for years I went with like, what the fuck happened between us? You know what I mean? To find out like, oh man, plus she tricked me. She played me in. She reconnected, got all in and everything. And it was all just to set up and let me know how fucking mad she was and how mean she can be. And oh, it was terrible. And it's all based upon a fucking lie. It's of all people, a lawyer lied to her. And her husband, who was going through a divorce with her, lied to her about me. And she believed them. And has gone on for like decades believing I like ruined her life and was the worst thing let down ever in life and shit. It was a lie. It was a fucking lie. I
It
didn't even do
happens.
it.
It happens. Somebody got something against you, and they'll go tell somebody some bullshit lie, and person will believe it, and they'll hold a grudge against you because somebody told them a lie.
Uh,
I've seen that before too. Not to me, but another friend of mine that had something similar to that happen. crazy, but it happens. No,
Yeah.
and yeah, going back to your supervisor, you don't work for Jeff Hardy by any chance, dude?
Nah, but
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
he got like 6, 7 DUIs.
Yeah, which is why everybody thought this last one he was going to jail for sure, and somehow Jeff Hardy didn't end up in jail.
So does like Sable or something, man. I saw a little video clip on her. She looks terrible. She lives the junkie life and shit. I think she got
Not Sable. That's Sonny.
Sonny. Yeah, Sonny.
Yeah, Sable's married
She
to Brock
got-
Lesnar. They have a couple of kids.
Yeah, this chick got like 2 DUIs in one day.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Sonny she went downhill quick. She got with I think it was Chris Candido back in the day, and he was a known drug user, and he got her started. And she went downhill so fast. She's done really bad porn and all kinds of other shit.
Who's dead is that other announcer girl that we talked about. Another really, really hot chick.
DDP, is that who you're saying?
She's on AEW.
Yeah, the Lexi Nair, DDP's daughter.
Whoever the girl I'm talking about is, she needs extra parental supervision in her life. Please don't let her go down the trash route. She's too
I don't think if she actually is DDP's daughter, I don't think he's going to.
She is too
DDP
far.
isn't like that. DDP will get involved.
Well, he's a good father, man, because that'd be a tragic story to see her end up.
Remember, DDP's the one that got Jake Roberts and Scott Hall turned around. And those guys were in trouble.
Oh no, I saw the girl on WWE named Jackie.
Uh-huh. She's new.
Oh, yeah, right there, son.
Is it the short black girl that you're talking about?
No,
No,
Jackie's
she's a brunette.
Yeah, average height brunette.
Yeah, younger. Well, they're all
Yeah.
younger, my age.
Yeah,
but,
they're all younger than you, Jason, so that's not saying much.
yeah, but she's really, really pretty, really good looking. She's like movie star good looking. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been on I think SmackDown now for 2-3 weeks. I think sometimes she's on Raw.
Got like long brown hair,
Uh-huh.
like a darker complexion, but
Yeah.
she's she's a sweet.
Yeah, she looks like she's Italian descent or something along those lines. Skin tone, maybe Greek. She's got that Mediterranean skin tone.
She's probably a fucking witch.
Jason's been poisoned.
Cursed.
Same difference. Witches do both, curse and poison. Oh, we're going to start wrapping this up. But go ahead.
I tell you how much of a witch this girl is. She's 55 fucking years old. Don't have a fucking single fucking wrinkle or blemish on her fucking skin or body nowhere.
Oh yeah, no, she might be Dracula's daughter. She's out there taking baths in virgin blood and shit. No, what was the woman?
Telltale signs you got to look out for, man.
Yeah, what was
They could be a witch.
medieval Baroness or Countess, wherever it was, Bethany or something like that, to bathe in virgin blood?
I think her name was Catherine something. I remember the story that you're talking about. That was legit, like a true story. She did that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Catherine Bethany or something like that. She was like some duchess or countess or something over in Europe during the Middle Ages.
Yeah, I don't remember what her name is.
I remember because remember when History Channel used to show all the like vampire and shit around Halloween. That was always one of the stories that they would talk about.
They still do.
They still put that on? I don't have History Channel, so I don't know.
Well,
she kidnapped like the teenage. She ran like a teenage girls.
Well, she
school or college or something like that.
She was a noble. She had a castle, and she would get all the pretty girls from the village to come work as chambermaids for her, and then she would kill them and fill her bathtub with their blood.
And psychopaths are doing that now. Like that, there's people who get.
Well, hey
Be
man,
careful how I say things. Agely challenged human beings, meaning challenged as in they haven't been around long enough to get much number on the age number that we rectify as challenging. Trying to not get FBI at my house today. But they do transfusions with lesser than aged people than they are. I guess I could put it that way. You know who they are, and you know what they're doing to the days that they're doing it to. I
they're
can't say
getting an
who.
oil change, man. Getting an oil change so your engine runs longer.
Yeah, they're getting that. They're getting that fresh, new, young oil in there
Yeah.
too. That fresh stuff.
I love the punishment they did to the woman when they caught her too, bathing and taking baths in these girls' blood. And there's some rumor that she was drinking it too. By the way, they walled her up inside her room to where she couldn't leave, and walled up all the windows so she had no fresh air, no food or anything. She basically starved. She is either she was going to starve to death or suffocate to death, whichever one came first. That's how they put her to death when she was caught after being tried for her crimes.
Oh, I never heard that part of the story.
Yeah, they were
That's
brutal back then. Yeah, what you know the expression that the punishment fit the crime? They did. You couldn't get away with that today. The Eighth
Elizabeth
Amendment and everything. What was that, Kingpin?
Elizabeth Bathory, according to the
Yeah,
quick
Bathory. I knew it was
interval.
something Bathory, something along those lines. But yeah, she was a piece of work, to say the least.
is that where they got the term a bloodbath?
Possibly.
Possibly, yeah. They like Rich was saying earlier. They think that she's. They always want to compare her to a vampire.
Yeah. Because there was rumor that she was drinking the blood too, but they can never prove that. But she was caught taking a bath in the blood.
Well, actually, technically, you can't prove that, Rich.
Oh
So
no, they have written transcripts, and the maids caught her. That's how they caught her. One of her maids
says
caught
who?
her doing it and ran and got without being seen. She like was cracked. The door was left cracked to her bathing chamber, and the maid saw her through the crack in the door, ran and got the authorities in the town. They ran back and they caught her in the act of taking the bath.
Sounds
Well,
kind of like the winners write history, Jason.
yeah, I'm
You
just
know,
gonna
you got
say,
that.
says you can't prove it. I don't want to strike for what they call disinformation,
It's not disinformation.
misinformation,
It's just history.
something like that. I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah.
just putting out that there's a possibility
This
that
information only
the
counts if you're
book
talking
could
about
be
COVID
wrong.
or elections. Come on now.
We weren't there, so there's a possibility that books could be wrong.
Oh,
Language
this was
copied
well
wrong. Or whatever.
documented.
Those girls could have volunteered to give their blood too.
Her
Could have
bathtub,
sold it. Could have sold it.
her
We don't know.
bathtub is in a museum over in Europe. They literally they have the actual bathtub in a museum over there. You can see the stains in the ceramic that was used to coat the iron tub. You can see the stains from the blood in the ceramic.
Well, damn it, she didn't live forever, but she sure looked young. She looked a lot younger than she was. Yeah.
Anyway, I think we need to wrap this up. We've been going for almost 2 hours, 2.5 hours now, and I haven't had any sleep. So, repeat it last weekend. Anything you want to plug or anything before we get out of here, Jace?
No, good chat, man. Good history lesson. It's good to hang out with you. Everybody out there in the chat. Ashley Ammerman's new. Good to see you, and thanks for hanging.
I think we may have freaked her out with the story of Bathory.
Oh gosh, don't be freaked. We got worse stories than that. That's
Oh
nothing.
yeah, we've got much worse
Oh
stories
my
than
gosh.
that. Man, I don't know if we're inspiring her to come back. She said, "Good chat, guys." Of course, she'll show up again. All right. She said, "Give me your worst." Oh, we can, believe me. You haven't heard the story about the poop-powered car, Kingpin? You want to plug or anything?
Nah, man.
Yeah, go back a couple of months on the. Oh, sorry, what was that last part?
Space Cowboys.
Yeah, but yeah, if you want the story on the poo-powered car, you got to go back a few months on the Unloaded Media channel on the this week Unloaded live stream and search for that one. That was a special one, and it was all Rob D's fault. Anyway, with that said, we will bid everybody adieu for this weekend, or tonight anyway, not this whole weekend. And we will catch you all on the Unloaded Media channel tomorrow night for This Week Unloaded, hopefully, if I can get some sleep unlike last week. But, man, I didn't even make it to 8 o'clock, let alone make it to 8:30 to do a show last week. But, yep, we'll catch y'all tomorrow.
We got to do the thing. We got to do the thing.
What thing?
We got to do. I'm better than you, baby. Come on. Ready? Come on.
Oh bloody hell!
I'm better than you, baby.
Hey, no, we're better than you, baby. We're gonna beat you for the world titles. You know why? Because we're better than you, baby.
There you go. We got
I'm the better Ronda Rousey.
And everybody's talking about
L.A. Knight.
yeah. Later, folks.
You guys are probably really scared right now, and I understand that completely. But I get the better of the deal, and even though it's 3 versus 2, you guys are outnumbered because we're better than you guys. Yeah, we are. We're legends in our own mind compared to you guys. Even though you guys got the egos, we have got the wrestling skill. And this guy right here